Is it possible that your father killed your mother and killed himself?
Certainly possible. You can't throw that out, right?
But you don't believe it?
I don't believe it at all.
So a third party killed your parents and is still at large?
That's my belief.
How does that make you feel?
Horrified. Horrified. The fact is that law enforcement let us down on this one. I mean, they just blew it. It was pathetic.
For months, I've stared up through the windows at 49 Meadow Run Drive in Montgomery, trying to somehow feel my way into the crime scene where John and Joyce Sheridan lost their lives in late September of 2014. Prosecutor said John Sheridan stabbed his wife to death, set a fire, and then killed himself. But I've long had my doubts about the finding, and the Sheridans' family has too. Finally this week, Mark Sheridan gave me the opportunity that I've wanted since the beginning, to go inside the house and analyze the crime scene for myself. I wanted an extra set of eyes, so I brought with me Mike LaMarca, who I've discussed theories about this case with for hours on end here, and Gary Britton, retired homicide detective, who's handled over 200 murder investigations. We arrived in Montgomery, met up with Mark, who along with his brothers is suing the state medical examiner to change his father's cause of death from suicide to undetermined. Why are you asking for this to be made undetermined as opposed to a double homicide?
First step, right? Everything has an order. You got to go in steps. First step is going to be undetermined. From there, we're going to go and point to all the evidence that suggests it was a third party, have it changed to homicide, and then I want to find out who killed my parents.
Then I finally entered the Sheridan home. Out of respect to the family, we're not going to show you the bedroom where blood still stains the floor and the evidence of the fire is still obvious in the air, on the walls, and on the ceiling. But some potentially key evidence is on the second floor stairwell, and that's what we focused on. What could these droplets of blood on the walls be? The Somerset County Prosecutor's Office said it was blood from when the firefighters dragged John and Joyce Sheridan out of the burning home.
Well, that would be somebody who was still alive and the blood's pumping.
Okay.
Okay, that would make, arterial blood spatter a hell of a lot more telltale.
But it's smeared.
It's smeared, yeah.
This is spatter, this is smear. At the scene, we could see that there were marks that had totally different characteristics than the spatter that was on the wall. Whose blood could that be?
Let's assume somebody's bleeding, they're bringing them down the steps.
Okay.
They stop to readjust, there's no movement, they're standing still, they're stationary. Blood spatters onto the wall, gravity's going to drip it down.
John Sheridan had a wound in his abdomen. He was about my height. And we stood in the doorway and Gary faked putting a knife into my side and pulled it back. It followed exactly the path of those blood droplets. The Somerset County Prosecutor's Office, incredibly, never bothered to test this blood to find out who it came from. The Somerset County Prosecutor's Office has declined comment on that part and all other parts of this story when I asked them to respond. We continued on to the bedroom where Mike LaMarca noticed another potential motive for robbery, based on Joyce Sheridan's painkillers being in a cabinet and John Sheridan's medicine. Her pills were over here, and his were in the bathroom, all kind of laid out. Now in the bedroom, it's still full of smoke damage, black soot, and you can see blood on the threshold from the dressing room, but this dressing room actually provides another key piece of evidence, Bill. If you walk through here, through a large walk-in closet built over the garage, there's a second stairwell that leads downstairs to the main hall and towards the unlocked doors that could have allowed someone to gain access to this entire thing and come upon the Sheridans as they slept. Outside the Sheridan house, there's access to virtually every other home in the neighborhood through the backyard. Mark says he and his brothers used to go pool hopping when he was a kid. It's so easy to get from yard to yard to yard. What could this evidence all mean? Now, Gary noted as one of the key things that he saw, the pour from the gas can that was used to set the fire. The pour is heaviest here, next to the fallen armor where John Sheridan was found, but goes on Joyce Sheridan's side of the bed and kind of tapers off on the side where John Sheridan slept. Over here, it's much lighter over there. And this is, you're getting to the area where I get bothered, where it's like, you bring something home from IKEA, and it's like, there are these three pieces that don't fit with my bookcase. Why are they there?
Here would be, if there was a burglar, or if somebody did this, then I think within a reasonable amount of certainty, you can say, he set that fire to cover up the crime. If John Sheridan set that fire, only John Sheridan knows exactly why he set that fire.
But Gary still firmly believes the Somerset County Prosecutor's Office made dramatic mistakes that would not pass muster in Trenton, where he handled between 20 and 40 investigations into homicides every year.
They come in, they seal off the entire property with their crime scene tape and just boom, and they go in there and they attack everything and they leave no stone unturned.
It reminded me of visiting my own grandparents' house. There are photos of all the Sheridan boys in their high school football uniforms still stuck into the corner of the mirror that's just completely covered in soot in their bedroom. I mean, there's just photos and holiday tchotchkes everywhere. You got a feeling for who John and Joyce Sheridan were And that's going to linger with me for a long time.
They were one of a kind. I mean, they really were. They were together always.
Would your father be proud of you for what you're doing now?
Yeah, I like to think so. I like to think so. And, you know, it's not just me. My brothers are all involved. I mean, this is a family effort.
Would your mother be proud of you?
Yeah, yeah.
She would like the fact that you're standing up to
Yeah,
the powers that be.
No backing down, yeah.